Welcome to Service Drive Revolution. I hope you're having a great week. We have an exciting show for you. I'm Chris Collins. This is Jeremy O'Neill and Christian Lafferty. Say hello, everybody.
Hello.
Okay, that's good.
Hello,
Today
everybody.
we have a topic that we are excited about. This was Jeremy's idea, and it is very informative and also very funny.
I'm excited about this
The
topic.
top 5 four-letter words advisors use every day. The top 5 four-letter words advisors use every day. And there's actually a 6th one that's a little bonus.
I need to know, though, is this the G-rated one, or is this the one that they're going to have to do the beeps for? Because I have 2 lists written down here.
We're gonna do the G-rated.
Okay. All right.
We also had an extended list where you tried to stick 4 5-letter words into the list too, but these are great.
Top 5 four-letter words advisors use every day. You can assume that they are bad, but some of them, no, they're all bad.
They are bad.
Yeah, they're
So,
all
like,
bad.
you would never want to tell a customer to shut the front door.
Question, Jeremy.
Yes.
Is there anybody that you would be willing to catch coronavirus to meet? Like, you get to spend 2 hours with them, but there's a very high likelihood that you're going to catch the HIV, the
Rona.
coronavirus, the Rona.
Yeah, there's a short list on that.
Would you rather have Rona or herpes?
Rona.
Really? Yeah. That's funny.
Herpes is kind of the gift that keeps on giving. The Rona, I mean, you got a decent survivability rate. So
I hear it itches and burns, too.
Herpes is a
so.
weird conversation with your wife.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, especially.
So who would you catch the Rona for to meet, to spend a couple hours with?
Oh, well, I mean, you're at the top of that list, so I would, but I get
You don't
to hang
have
out
to
with you
catch
all the
the
time.
Rona too.
Right, so we're here. To hang out for a couple hours, Tony Robbins would be definitely towards the top of my list. Yes,
Tony?
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
That's an interesting one. Mm-hmm. What would you want to get out of that if you had a couple hours?
A couple hours. Obviously, I'd want to, have some personal conversations just about his journey and things that shape him. And it's crazy when you hear some of the stories of his work day and the hours and how he's trained his body to be able to perform at such a high level. And then to watch him just command, 5,000 to 20,000 people in front of an audience for the length of time that he holds their attention. And then just some sage wisdom and advice for the next 20 to 30 years.
I hung out with him for a couple hours.
No, I didn't.
And I, my buddy Mike and I did, yeah. And I think our expectations were too high of it. Like we had questions that were pretty deep, and he pulled up short on us. He pretended like he didn't know what we were talking about. But I think what you're saying is a little different than what we were asking. But he definitely is good at what he does. There's no mistake that
Well, the other
anybody who can stand in front of 30,000 people and get them all to do what you want is talented.
The other person I would definitely catch coronavirus for is Max Verstappen, because I would want to help him beat Lewis Hamilton.
Who's that?
Talking Formula One racing here. You guys don't know Formula One racing?
Yeah, but who did you
Max
say?
Verstappen. He drives the Red Bull Formula One car.
Oh.
He won the 70th anniversary of the Silverstone race last weekend. It was a brilliant race.
He beat
Lewis Hamilton. He beat Mercedes. Now,
where was Hamilton?
third.
Third.
Yeah.
Who was second?
Bottas.
Bottas.
The other.
Is he the Ferrari
Mercedes
guy?
driver. No.
He's the other
got
Mercedes
2 or 3.
guy.
Other
Yeah.
Mercedes guy. Yeah.
Nice.
And then I would hijack his car, and I go do some hot laps in it. I so would do that.
Have you driven an F1?
I don't even fit in the cockpit. They don't make them for guys like me.
Well, so when I drove it, they took all the seat out, and I was sitting on the metal.
Yeah, you sit actually on the frame.
I
of the
hated
car.
it.
Wow.
I hated every second of it.
You're like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're just looking at the A arms with little bolts on them. Like I hated every second.
Yeah,
of
the
it.
stock car's more your
Who would you catch herpes to meet?
I've got 2 slam dunks. One is David Goggins. I feel like I'd like to have a conversation with that guy because he's got this mind over body thing that he does, and I really think that there'd be a lot to learn and glean from that. And the other, I would love to spend some time with Michael Jordan.
Oh, what would you ask Jordan?
I think really about his mindset in understanding the sacrifice that it took to become him. Like, it was a very conscious effort to be where he's at, and he knew he had to give up a lot. Like, what was that point where he recognized that he was willing to sacrifice that to be the best in the world?
Yeah, that's good. So mine would be Jordan Peterson, and he has the Rona.
Yeah. And
so that's what made me think of this question is he's had a rough go of it.
Right. And before we go too far, I think it's really important that you understand he's not the Prime Minister of Canada.
He is the Prime Minister of Canada.
I can't believe you
Okay,
told him that.
so should he be the Prime Minister of Canada? Who's that good-looking guy that's the Prime?
Justin Trudeau.
Trudeau.
Yeah.
Come on. That guy. The only thing he's got going for him is his dad was the Prime Minister and he's good-looking. But he's not.
No, don't forget about
He's not a great
Whistler
leader.
Bike Park up there in BC.
Who?
The Whistler Bike Park up there.
What does that have to do with anything?
Well, he's the Prime Minister of Canada. That's one asset that he has. That's another one.
Who is?
I'm just giving you another checkbox to put up there.
But what did you say? I don't understand.
It's irrelevant. Moving on.
You went off the
Was
bike
that your
path on
attempt at humor?
It
totally,
was, yes.
yeah.
I went totally off the bike path.
You got to run the jokes by Christian before the show.
I'm not the joke guy, so I don't do jokes, so it's all good.
You're not a fan of Jordan, right? Or you just haven't watched his stuff?
No, just haven't really watched his stuff.
I'll tell you, man, if you like Tony Robbins, Jordan's the real deal. Like, Tony's manipulating you and using NLP, and like, he's good at what he does. He's programming you and all that. But Jordan lays it out where, like, he shows you the extreme left and the right, and he's more of an educator than a salesman, I think.
Okay.
I see Tony more as a salesman and Jordan as an educator. But I don't think that I've learned more from anybody ever in my life than Jordan Peterson.
Dang.
What would be your favorite Jordan Peterson lesson that impacted you?
So easy. Stop saying things that make you weak.
Yeah, that's a good one. So I remember, who was funny. So Gary and I, the old G-Man, and I were in Florida, and Gary would do this thing where he would book like the rooms and stuff, and it was like, oh yeah, this hotel is great, it's on the water and whatever, and then you show up at the hotel, you've been traveling, whatever, and the hotel was a nightmare. Like, it was under construction, it smelled like mold, looked nothing like the pictures online, the whole thing. He did it to me once. For some reason, it always happened in Florida. In Florida, once we landed and we were renting an Airbnb, and we were in Daytona during the Daytona 500, but it wasn't about the Daytona 500. We were there for something else. And we rented an Airbnb. And when we called the guy with the Airbnb, it was obvious that we were just renting a room in his house and he was going to be there. No. And I was like, I'm not staying in a house with a guy, like, whatever. So same thing, Gary.
He's all, yeah, when you get here, I'll open up.
The hotel, like, it was just, if you followed the website, it looked like it was a nice hotel. But when we got there, it was different than what it was. And I couldn't sleep. It smelled like mold. There was construction. And it's like 11 at night. And then I have that time change, right, where I'm coming from West Coast to East Coast. So already you have a hard time going to sleep. And I remember it's like almost midnight, and I'm just watching the clock. Like, I got to get up at 5, and I can't sleep, and the whole thing. And I'm watching that Jordan Peterson video on YouTube that is where he's going through the Bible, and he's talking about Noah and the flood. And that's the one where he says the thing about stop saying things that make you weak. And when he went through that part, it's like at 40 minutes in that video, it starts, and then, I don't know, 43 or 44 minutes, he goes into that. I literally got up in bed. I was watching on my iPad, and like, I couldn't sleep the rest of the night. Like, it just hit me like a car. Like, he's the best. Like, people that don't like him don't understand him, because he's like one of the sweetest men ever. I feel like he gave a piece of his soul to the world in the last couple years with, touring and all that. We went and saw him when he came here and met him. But I literally would take the chance of catching Corona to meet him. Probably the only person. But we send our love and send your thoughts to him, because he's had a tough time lately.
Yeah, for sure.
And getting Rona is not, I don't think, at his age, at your age, you'd be fine. But
Well, yes and no. I have a good friend who has it, and he's got the heart condition out of it, and he's having a hard time walking
you
upstairs.
get a heart condition from
It
it?
can actually it can damage your heart, and it's pretty serious. So,
Man.
yeah.
How many people do you know that have had it?
Me? 2?
Me too.
2?
2.
And I have not had close contact with them, so you're safe. I don't need a mask or anything. We're good.
Yeah, I trust you. Okay, top 5 4-letter words advisors use every day.
Well, let's see if they can pick this one out of the sentence I'm about to use. Do you have an appointment?
So have is the 4-letter
I'm
word.
pretty sure that was the only 4-letter word in that sentence. It made it really easy.
I understand, but we're asking them to count the letters in the word,
Yeah,
so that
for
can
sure.
get pretty challenging, right? So, yeah, the word have, right? Like, do you have an appointment? That's like one of the phrases that I absolutely hate that is used all the time in our industry. Customer walks in, and instead of being ready for them, how can I serve you? Welcome. It's, do you have an appointment? It's just like, it's just,
Hurts, doesn't
yeah,
it?
it does, absolutely. Some customers are like, I guess I'll go somewhere else. Just turn around and leave. Yeah.
So that reminds me, Jeremy, I have a broken vacuum cleaner at home, and it was really important that I fixed it. So,
Segue.
so I put a Nickelback sticker on it, and it started sucking again.
They're one of my favorite bands. What's that say about
Figures.
me?
Yeah. Are they really?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
No. When their songs come on, I go to the next one
Yeah.
on the playlist. Yeah, so let me check if we have time, all that
Are
stuff.
you guys
is pretty
keenly
possessive.
aware of the fact that rock and roll is dead?
Very.
Is that lost on you?
Well, that depends on what you listen to.
Rock and roll.
There's no good, besides the Foo Fighters, which put out an album every 4 years, who's good? Yeah, exactly.
I'm
It's
not going to
dead.
open myself up to
Yeah.
this one.
In some
Well, if you were
cases,
going to say
literally like
Nickelback,
No way. No,
It's
there's
dead.
No way. There's some good new stuff coming online.
like what?
I can't think of it right
Because
now.
it doesn't
but-
exist.
I don't think it's possible.
Jeremy and the Jets? I don't know.
Who's that?
His band he just made up.
So you are not aware of the fact that rock is dead.
They have said that over and over again.
No,
for the
but
past
it's.
30
I'm not
years.
saying it. It's happened.
All right, rock isn't dead. Slipknot has brought it back.
No, bro.
Wait a
Slipknot's
second.
Slipknot's metal, and
Yeah.
it's
I feel like that's IE fodder.
It is not IE fodder.
Yeah.
Don't be throwing the 909
Slipknot
at me
is
there.
one.
Come on.
Like real rock and roll gives you a series of emotions. Like you listen to AC/DC Back in Black,
Okay.
you have a series of feelings and emotions.
Wait,
It's-
so now you're
it's
getting all
almost color.
artistic on me here.
Yeah, you listen to Slipknot, it's one thing. It's like mad at your parents.
That is not the message
You can
that
lift
they say,
weights to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
You could work to it.
Yes.
Like you could be slinging a transmission to it, but it's one thing. Real rock and roll, like Zeppelin, it's
Takes on a roller coaster.
it's an experience. It's not thin. Slipknot is kind of thin.
I'm
I
gonna-
like Slipknot.
I'm
but
going
it's
to bring
thin.
this back in 3 or 4 episodes. I'm going to do some research and come back on that. So I'm going to take notes.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a rain
Just
check on this.
Write this down.
Rock
Rock is dead.
is dead.
It's sad. There's no good rock. Like you can't really like Bon Iver and stuff like that. You can't really say that's rock.
I did work out to it a couple of weeks ago.
To what?
Bon Iver.
Ooh, that would be interesting.
So interesting.
It's very romantic.
Yeah.
Your workout.
I took weight off.
Yeah, I'm going to take a rain check on that and come back on that one. What's our-
Top 5 4-letter words advisors say every day. Number 2.
We're so busy.
Busy, busy, busy.
Busy is a 4-letter word.
Busy. Too busy.
Busy. Yep, and the chaos
They
ensues.
think it in their
after that.
head too.
Yep.
They do, absolutely. And busy doesn't translate into profits, right? So one of the things, I changed that word in my vocabulary, and everybody would come into the shop and they'd be like, oh, you're so busy. And I'm like, look, busy is a 4-letter word. We're profitable. So I replaced that 4-letter word with the word profitable, and I started to influence some other small business owners around that they would respond that way. And it's interesting when you look at busy work versus profitable work, it's totally different. There are times that we need to possibly say yes or possibly say no, but it's not just about being busy. You can fall into the busy trap and it can cost your business.
Yeah.
Genius.
Hamsters are busy running in a wheel, but they're not getting anywhere.
Number 3 is a 2-for-1.
Oh, yes.
This is his favorite.
Yeah.
So the number 3, can't/won't. The apostrophe does not count as a letter, by the way.
Oh, it doesn't?
No.
Not even a half?
No.
Okay.
I can't do that. We won't do that here.
Now, so we just had the battle of dealership versus independent, right? Where independents came out supreme. You guys both agree with that. You didn't see the poll result of that?
I thought both sides had great points.
Well, I do too, but obviously independents won. I mean,
You
that
don't
was-
remember that the way that we wrap that up is that it isn't about independents or dealerships, it's about their opportunity?
I'm sorry.
You weren't there?
The competitive side of me was not listening at that moment. I'm so sorry. So.
Alzheimer's is a bitch.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. It is, absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, can't. I forgot what I was going to say, so we're moving on. Bless me with
Number
Alzheimer's.
Sorry.
Right there.
number 4.
Cost.
I think most advisors just see everything through their wallet.
Yep.
Like they won't tell a customer what they really need because they can't imagine that they could afford it. So they're not telling the customer the truth. I think the cost keeps them from telling the truth.
Yeah, and I think it also can one of the things that when you look at driving car count, driving revenue, getting cars in, the customers today are very savvy. They're calling around for prices. And when you deal with a price estimate, the customers say, well, how much is it going to cost for whatever, right? And inevitably, if you're skilled at dealing with leads, you understand that the customer doesn't need a price before they pick the shop they're going to, like price is the absolute last thing, or the cost of the repair is the last thing that the customer should be asking for, right? Like they should be calling, hey, Christian, do you guys have a drug-free workplace in place? Especially in California now, right?
Right.
You know, so there's a lot of other questions that go there. So yeah, cost, I think they do get hung up on the cost, and you know they do sell with their wallet as well, and they got to stop doing that.
Yep. And if we're using the word cost and we're thinking the word cost, we're forgetting way more important words like value and investment. And then when it comes down to it, if we're an advisor that's focused on cost, that's really how we're seeing ourselves as an expense as opposed to a value add at the end too.
Good. Number 5, this is my favorite one. So top 5 4-letter words advisors use every day. Number 5.
Hey, Chris, thanks for calling. I was just about to call you.
Mind reader!
Yeah, you're psychic. I was just about to call you.
You're a liar. That's
4 letters?
That's 4 letters as well. Yes. Yeah, just. And it's funny how we fall into the reaction game where we are not proactive. We let our systems fall apart, and then we're chasing our tail all day long. So I guess tail's another 4-letter word that is there, but just.
That's a
Just about to
multifaceted
call
word
you.
too.
I was just thinking about you.
Yep. Give me just a minute. I just need to finish your paperwork. That's another one there.
Your car's just coming out of the wash. How long has
Parts
it been there?
manager
A
is
couple
just
days.
now doing nothing.
Whoa! Why are you picking on the
Here
parts
we go.
manager?
You know, it's kind of funny.
You guys did not have that reaction in pre-meeting.
But it's actually kind of funny now that you say that. Here's another segue, is that I was in a store a few weeks ago and parts manager kind of pulls me aside and he says, "Why don't you like me? I didn't do anything." So I look at him and I say, "Sometimes questions answer themselves."
That's exactly why I don't like you. You weren't doing anything.
I didn't do anything. Get back to your office and check your email.
Right.
Absolutely. So, and I know you guys beat me up on parts all the time, but it's just one of those things. I got hung out to dry 3 specific times this week. So, very interesting.
Very interesting. Okay, let's go to your questions. Remember, if you send in a question that we answer on the show, we'll send you some swag, which is a Service Drive Revolution t-shirt, coffee mug, notebook. What else is in there? Stickers. Hats.
The stickers are pretty awesome.
It's pretty cool swag. So post it on YouTube or email us at info@ChrisCollinsInc. And God is always looking for good questions, aren't you, God?
The voice of God is always looking for good questions.
Voice of God, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Wait, you can't ask God questions.
Why not? I speak, well,
Well, it's called prayer.
That's favors. You can ask God for a favor.
no, I want to know if the voice of God thinks Rock is dead. Just a simple yes or no.
Yes, Rock is dead. I saw to that many times.
Wait, but what?
Rock is dead, but you just can't kill the metal.
And by metal, he means Keith Richards.
Striper?
God, what's worse, herpes or corona?
God is not a licensed medical professional.
Well, when you created herpes, what were you thinking?
You're really putting God on the spot.
Well, I'm just saying he's the creator of all things.
Maybe if well,
this isn't actually God, this is the voice of God that
was
we're-
created through sin.
So Satan
So it's
created
our
it?
fault, maybe?
It's our fault.
Herpes is a lesson.
Let's
Okay,
get
what's
let's
the
get to
question, God?
questions.
Question number 1. Guys, I love the show, but why do you hate parts so much? Stop with the parts bashing.
Oh, wow.
Oh no!
Okay.
Why does Jeremy hate parts so much?
We all understand that our shops are labor factories, correct?
Correct.
So,
We are in the business of producing labor.
correct. That's where our profit target is.
Production.
So,
And it takes parts to do that.
So Tuesday, I call one of my local dealerships up. Hey, Steve, so-and-so, I need this, this, and this. Great, I'll have it on the afternoon truck. Click. The day comes and goes. Before I know it, it's 5:30. My tech says, hey, by the way, where are those two things we were waiting for from the great parts department? You know, they didn't show up. So I called the next day, and I kid you not. Hey, I get a different person. I ordered these two parts yesterday. Can you just see where they're at? I am on hold for 12 minutes and 32 seconds. That's 12 minutes I'll never get back in my life. He comes back, he goes, oh yeah, so-and-so put the order in, but he just forgot to put it on the truck. So you'll get it on the afternoon truck. So a whole 24 hours later, we finally get it, but just because somebody in parts forgot to do their job.
What pisses you off more that you're on hold for 12 minutes and how many seconds?
12 minutes
32.
and 32 seconds.
Randomly specific.
Yeah.
I track my time.
Like
12
you plan on counting this.
That or that it wasn't on the truck.
What upsets me is the entire process. Number one, I shouldn't have to talk to anybody. I should be able to order it online and it should show up when they promise it.
Now, did you call the parts manager and tell him what happened?
No.
So how
might
can a
not know.
parts manager do anything if they don't know?
I'm still on hold waiting for him 12 years, 32 days, and 45 seconds later.
He's checking his email.
He is.
Yeah.
Parts managers hide. They don't want to know the truth. They do not want to know the truth.
I do feel like we should. So in general, our parts avatar is a generalization. There are some really solid exceptions to the rule. I'm going to give you 3 names. They know who they are. Theo, Brad, Steve. 3 parts managers that I've got that absolutely they participate in morning meetings with the service department. They're proactively speaking to customers and trying to make the experience better. So I can rattle names of people that really do a nice job with their parts
So
department.
there's 18,000 dealerships and 3 of them are good.
3. Well, I have one. The one that was at Commonwealth Volkswagen, Brian, was amazing. He did
Yep.
a great job. So yes, I've worked with one.
Well, see, God, I think at least we're coming up with positive things about parts there at the end.
I will never stop bashing parts though, so I'm not going to apologize for that. It's just the way it is. So deal with it.
That's good. Parts department is the reason why God created herpes in the first place.
The truth comes out.
He's been holding that
Full
for like
circle.
10 minutes.
That's good.
Got it.
This next one comes from YouTube, but it's not a question, it's a comment. I wrote service for Toyota in the late 90s for 15 plus years. I was young and stupid. The money pulled me in, and instead of finishing university, I wasted away writing service, bouncing to different dealerships every 5 to 7 years due to management changes or dealers being purchased by large corporations. The hours suck and you get absolutely no respect from anyone. This business is based off of fear of losing your job. I was on all day long from every end. I wasted away all my 20s and my early 30s in the business. I eventually got out and went back to finish my degree. No more running around all day like someone's bitch. My advice to young people is to get out while you can. Writing service will eat you alive.
That's hilarious.
Wow.
What a bitter.
This guy's a country music
By the way,
songwriter.
that was a question or a long-winded statement?
That was a statement. The
Yeah.
sad thing is that everything applies except he's not young anymore.
Yeah. So let's talk about the '90s because that's when I started writing service.
started.
Was
Me too.
when Nirvana Nevermind came out and Pearl Jam 10 and all that.
Nice.
So a kid that didn't finish high school,
They did, not college.
work. Me.
Got it.
Ended up writing service, figuring out that the harder I worked and the more I took care of customers, the more money I made. I ended up making more money than lawyers or doctors that I went to school with that had student loans for,
Ever.
back then a couple $100,000. Now it'd be like $500,000.
Yeah.
Provided me a great lifestyle, great customers that I loved. I went home with the accomplishment of taking care of people and learning. So, I mean, I think your perspective has a lot to do with who you are as a person, because that is not the experience I had. Now, I had my pay plan change, and the first dealer I worked with was a dealer kid that was as useless as two tits on a board. And the manager I had, who in the book, the Millionaire Service Advisor, I renamed him Dick because he was a dick. Literally, I would vacuum his car and we were vacuuming up his weed and his blow. He worked like 4 hours a day. He would come in at 10 and leave at 2. And so I experienced all that, but what I focused on was my opportunity. Like, every pay plan change, I maximized the pay plan. Mm-hmm. I switched it up. I learned how. I hated it at first, of course, but I ended up maximizing every pay plan I was ever on. And customers were coming in and I was helping customers. And as difficult as Dick made it for us to get work done and couldn't hire good techs and all that, we still figured it out. And then I went to another dealership where my manager was great and the techs were good, and it was easier. But I mean, the opportunity that our industry has provided all of us is crazy. Yep. So no, whatever that guy's name is. What's that guy's name?
That guy's name is Sonny.
No, Sonny.
Yep.
I disagree.
Sonny could have had a very different career with just a change in mindset.
Well, I was going to say, it's probably funny because all the problems he was talking about probably followed him at every dealership he went.
Yeah, but it wasn't him.
Yeah, it wasn't him. Like,
Of course not.
yeah, all those things that he's saying are true, but the opportunity is what you want to focus on. What can you control? Well, I can control how I treat customers, how customers feel about me, being consistent, getting better at it every day.
Right.
I can control that, and it ends up that makes you very valuable.
Yeah. With blow in the vacuum, you don't need the Nickelback sticker either.
No, you don't.
What?
I got it.
Explain it.
Yeah, so if
Blow
you're,
like cocaine?
Yeah.
With cocaine in the
right, then
vacuum?
it makes the vacuum just work way faster.
Like energizes it? You could have said Red Bull.
No, he's referencing you vacuuming the blow and the weed from your service manager.
Oh, yeah.
That was a
That
good
guy.
tie-in. He gets a gold star.
This is
good. And the other thing about that comment is he's doing everything opposite of what we teach. Stay in one place, be
Well,
a
clearly he's
customer.
a
Yeah,
victim.
absolutely.
Nothing's ever his fault.
But the message, I don't want to get lost in
Don't
the
send
story.
that guy swag.
No.
That was not a question.
I get his swag. So many advisors are like, that story, didn't finish college or halfway through college, and then they end up, working, getting a job as an advisor. And yes, the money's good, and, so we fall into the industry. But if you're there, you've got to make a choice. It's your profession.
Listen, I never felt like I was a victim or I was trapped. I felt like I couldn't believe that the harder I worked, the more money I made, and that I was in control of my own destiny,
Yes.
which I loved. Because I always, was kind of programmed that you like go work for the shipyard or you go in the military and you kind of climb this corporate ladder. And I was just, I'd go in on Sunday and write the night drops and get there early. And I don't know. Yeah, I worked really hard, but we work hard now. Like,
Absolutely.
I'm not afraid of hard work. Maybe, is it possible he was a candidate for parts? Maybe he went in the wrong
That's why
department.
he said he only did it for 15 years, and then he finally got into the parts
He
department.
was miserable for 15 years.
That's what he said.
Bro, if you hate it, quit now. Like, don't go 15 years.
At least Sonny's got a high
you have
tolerance
another-
for pain.
Yeah, I agree. He does.
That's it.
That's it for this week.
That was a good show, boys.
Yeah, it
It
was.
was a great show.
Oh, can I
Thank
do that
you.
too?
Yeah. Remember, run the jokes by him first.
Got that. I'll give you a rain check on Rock is Dead. I'll bring some good bands in and some good music next time we come to the studio.
Thanks, everybody. We hope you have a great week, and we'll see you next time on Service Drive Revolution. Thanks for watching this episode of Service Drive Revolution. If you have any questions, go ahead and post them in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon so you're notified when we post new episodes. I'm Chris Collins, and you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Chris Bulldog Collins. And I'll see you again on the next episode.